The bizarre kidnapping of Aldi CEO, and I love Aldi. So, we'll watch this. Let's go.
This is the CEO of the parent company of Trader Joe's and Aldi. He has just finished work and is heading home for the day. Parked next to him is a Mercedes 280, the same model his boss is driving. But it appears to be someone else's car. His boss left earlier anyways and should long be home by now.
What?
But it is Trader Joe's and Aldi. This is the CEO of the parent company of Trader Joe's and Aldi. He has just finished work and is heading home for the day. Parked next to him is a Mercedes 280, the same model his boss is driving.
See, I thought CEOs were the boss. Why does the CEO have a boss? What?
But it appears to be someone else's car. His boss left earlier anyways and should long be home by now. What he can't see is that his boss is tied up in the back seat, just 3 meters away from him. Gagged.
What? Wait. Aldi CEO. It just said the CEO was in the other car, and this is about kidnapping Aldi CEO. He's tied up in the back, and the person. So the person's boss is tied up in the car next to him. He doesn't know.
Gagged and held at gunpoint. He has been kidnapped, and this really is his car. This, right here, is the beginning of the biggest kidnapping in German history.
Right. So hey, this man. Oh, that looks like my boss's car, because it was his car. He's actually just tied up on the back seat. Crazy, you know.
The man in the backseat is Theo Albrecht, one of the two brothers who founded the global discount supermarket chain Aldi and one of the richest people in Europe. At this point in time, Aldi is already taking over Germany. Soon, it'll conquer the world. Theo Albrecht and his brother will forever change the way people do grocery shopping.
Is Aldi in America? I used to live in America, but I've never seen for 8 months. But I've never seen an Aldi once. I always I go to Aldi all the time here.
How much they spend on it, and how supermarkets work in general. But right now, he's not thinking about business. He's thinking about staying alive.
Staying alive. My bad, guys.
You know your business better
No!
than anyone, right? So why not build an app to...
No free advertisements here. You watch my 8 instead. Oh, and skip.
This is Theo, and this is his brother Karl. They're the Albrecht brothers. Their parents own a small grocery shop in the West German city of Essen. It's small and simple. The brothers grow up helping out where they can, but it's a tough time for selling groceries, or anything really. There was the hyperinflation in 1923.
Alright, so this is...
Depression of 1929.
This is
German
post-World War One.
in 1945, and the currency reform of 1948. Most Germans are broke and hungry. Theo is in his mid-20s when he and Karl take over the family shop. They know they have to be smart to make it through these difficult times. In this bare-bones store, the two will develop a set of principles that will revolutionize the concept of supermarkets as we know it. This is Hannah. She's in her early 20s and from another West German city called Dusseldorf. She comes from money, and right now she's head over heels in love with this guy. He's a bit older, as in almost 30 years older. A lawyer with a firm in
30 years older. Did I hear that right?
He's a bit older, as in almost 30 years older.
How old is she? I'm not saying it's better or worse, no matter how old she is. Nah, I suppose it's bad anyway. The man she's like fucking 18 and he's 48.
A lawyer with a firm in downtown Dusseldorf. He too is rich.
Did it say her age?
This is Hannah. She's in her early 20s and from another
Early
Western
20s.
city called
So he's in
Düsseldorf.
his 50s.
She comes from money, and right now she's head over heels in love with this guy. He's a bit older, as in almost 30 years older. A lawyer with a firm in downtown Düsseldorf.
Lawyer.
He too is rich. He drives flashy cars, takes luxury vacations, and somehow always wins at the roulette table. He drives flashy cars.
Ain't it mad that that was seen as a luxury car back in the day? Probably went about 20 miles an hour.
Takes luxury vacations, and somehow always wins at the roulette table. Well,
Well, I didn't know what he was doing because earlier on Bling Bling Bankruptcy, I was definitely not winning at the roulette. I won quite a lot of the roulette. It was a blackjack table, but still, but everything was all rigged back in the day anyway. All the casinos still is.
almost always. The other day, his luck ran out. He had to borrow 300,000 Deutsche Marks from Hannah, but that's not going to bother her tonight. Tonight they'll enjoy themselves at a ball. Hannah will have this photo framed and put up in her bedroom. She has no idea it'll go global just a few months later. She has no
Thing
idea.
is, though, if you show me that photo, I'd just think that's her dad.
It'll go global just a few months later. Interpol will use it for their manhunt to bring down the mastermind behind Germany's most high-profile kidnapping.
Oh, right.
Hannah's big shot lawyer boyfriend is called Heinz Joachim Ohlenburg, and right now he's got a problem. He and his partner just kidnapped one of the richest men in the country,
Why?
and they have absolutely no idea what to do next. To be fair, it's their first kidnapping. Also, Ohlenburg's day job is entirely
Sorry, they've just kidnapped a man with no motive. I swear, surely, like, usually you kidnap someone and there's a reason or there's something you're going to do. Like, oh, you kidnap someone and kill them, you kidnap someone and hold them for ransom. You don't just kidnap someone and then go, oh, we've got him, what do we do now? I assumed it was more like, you know what you're going to do once you've got him. Then you just kidnap someone for no reason.
different. He forged his high school diploma to get into law school.
Forged this diploma.
Entirely different. He forged his high school diploma.
That means grades. I was probably doing 4 languages. It must have been so easy back in the day if you can just forge a diploma and then get into law school and forge that.
Diploma to get into law school. He's been divorced twice and keeps having affairs with young women. These days, he's representing pretty shady clients, loan sharks, small-time crooks, and professional criminals. Now he needs cash, lots of it, and fast. 700,000 Deutsche Marks. He owes not only Hannah a couple of grand, but also a few relatives and even 2 serious felons. One of them...
Oh, sweet, he lent money off his wife because apparently he was rich. Oh, right.
is this guy here, Diamond Paul. His real name is Paul Kron. He's a trained car mechanic by day and a safecracker by night. He breaks into banks and department stores and snatches their cash deposits. He got caught once and did a few years behind bars. He swore he was done with that life when he got out, but he still has that one dream. A house on the Spanish Mediterranean coast. He even has a name for it, Casa Paulo. The land is already paid for. Now he just needs the money to build it. But his day job...
What? He's bought land to build a house on, but doesn't have the money to build a house. Maybe at that point, just buy a house instead of land.
job pays less than 2,000 Deutsche Marks a month. That is not going to cut it. The kidnapping was his idea. One last job, and they go off-grid forever.
More caffeine.
Ah!
The morning after the kidnapping, they don't know where to stash their millionaire, so Paul spent the night with him in his garage, with Theo Albrecht tied up and blindfolded next to him in the passenger seat. Albrecht's wife already knows. They called her the night before the kidnapping. They promised her husband would come back unharmed as long as she stayed quiet. No cops, no press. Now they just need to figure out what to do with him. First, they need to bring him somewhere safe, quietly, so that no one will recognize him. But how do you move a hostage without anyone noticing? They weigh their options. A wardrobe trunk? Too small. A
What?
broom closet? 6 weeks delivery time. Roll them up in a carpet. That could work. All in
Roll them up in a carpet. Sorry. Let's have a look at these other ideas.
wardrobe
Well, obviously not.
too small.
How are you gonna wail that about and people not be fucking... Who the fuck's texting? Go off and try and watch a video. How are you gonna just wail that about, right? And not be suspicious? Because surely you need to tie the doors together so he can't get out. Because if he's wheeling it around, he just gets out. Very suspicious. But what?
A broom closet. 6 weeks delivery time. Roll them up in a carpet. That could work.
Have they settled on rolling them up in a rug?
2 by 3 meters. Kron stays in the car with Albrecht. They agree to meet at a quiet road where they can safely transfer Albrecht into a Volkswagen van. The plan is to make him sit on the rolled out rug and wrap him up like a burrito. It all starts with this. Butter. Post-war Germany is a country in ruins. Food is
Just say a rug walking across the street and going, that rug's moving. That might be a bit dodgy.
scarce. Butter is a luxury. So the Albrecht brothers do something unusual. They sell their butter at cost, without markups and profits, sometimes even at loss. But word spreads quickly. There's no cheaper butter in town than at the Albrecht shop. Butter becomes their draw, or what's often called a loss leader. Other Albrecht loss leaders are bread, margarine, milk, flour, potatoes, pasta, soap, and toilet paper. They're everyday essentials at unbeatable prices, and once customers come in for those, they are likely to also spend money on other products. The plan works out. Before long,
Smart idea. You make like... I know you just explained it. Like, obviously, they make a... I'm gonna explain how I think it... I speak just... I'll finish eating first. So they'll sell like essentials like milk, sugar, eggs, whatever, butter, at prices where they'll be making a loss, or maybe even breaking even, not making loads of profit. When people come in, obviously they'll buy them because they need them, and then they'll see the other stuff in the shop there they will be making a profit on, buying them. That's really smart, actually. If you're in a shop buying the essentials and you see stuff that you just want for the house, you're gonna end up just buying it. And then if they're making a profit on that, that's actually really smart.
the Albrechts open one grocery store after another. Within just a few years, they're running 30 supermarkets across the greater area. While scaling, Aldi keeps it old school. A lot of paper, a lot of folders, tightly managed apartments. If only they could have run on Udo
No!
management.
Ugh.
Olenberg
There we
and
go.
Braun are looking for a place to hide their kidnapped millionaire, in broad daylight in downtown Dusseldorf. The first idea is Olenberg's lawyer's office, but it's located on a busy street right in the city center, just off the central station. Getting Albrecht out of the car and into the building would mean walking him across the sidewalk, blindfolded, so he doesn't see where he's taken and by whom. He could shout, people could notice and get suspicious. The second idea is Olenberg's grown-up daughter. She lives only a few blocks away. They could hide him there and have her move into the lawyer's office for a while. But that's probably a tough...
What about the fucking rug that they've just told about? Wrap him up in a rug and walk around? I mean, you might see shoes in the rug, but no one's going to be suspicious of that, obviously. Because that's normal.
sell. Her father has never visited her apartment, not even once. And now he would just show up with a kidnapped millionaire. So, back to the first idea. Unfortunately, Albrecht doesn't
do
own the
that.
rug. What now? The hostage himself ends up pitching in. He promises to cooperate and not cause trouble. Olenberg and Kron agree. They take off the blindfold, tape his eyes with skin patches, and give him a pair of shades. Then they walk him across the sidewalk to the building. But there's another problem. The office is packed with staff and clients who've
Why on earth would you cooperate? Just fucking... Oh my god. If you know that you're in public, because you'll be able to hear people around you, just scream. Someone's got to help you. People aren't that fucking horrible, are they?
already been waiting a while. So Allenberg shuffles everyone into back rooms so that Kronk can sneak Albrecht through the hallway and into Allenberg's private room. He usually reserves it for secret dates with his younger girlfriends. The room is a cramped 4-square-meter alcove. They sit Albrecht down on the bed. Then Allenberg goes into full gear to clear the office, rushing through client meetings and sending his staff home early. They don't mind. Hanna is worried, as usual, not because she thinks her boyfriend is a kidnapper, but because she knows he's a womanizer, constantly chasing younger women. But tonight he comes home from work on time. There's nothing special on the evening news, no mentions of a missing tycoon. Mrs. Albrecht
Well,
sends
sound.
John the message. No police and no press.
Das ist Rentner Hugo Bansimmer. Wir fragten ihn in seiner Wohnung, warum kaufen Sie bei Albrecht?
Wissen Sie, wenn man Rentner ist, muss man mit dem Pfennig rechnen. Und ich kaufe bei Albrecht ein. Ich kaufe dort immer ein. Man bekommt mehr für sein Geld und ich kann mir hin und wieder eine Pulle extra leisten.
Kaufen Sie bei Albrecht. Zu
Bea!
Ihrem Vorteil.
Don't ask.
Carl Albrecht steps onto a small stage. He's about to give a rare public speech. He talks to fellow grocers about how he and his brother grew their business from 1 to 30 stores within just a few years. It'll be the first and last time he publicly explains the Albrecht business model.
Looking back on our operations, I see that in the early days, we were forced to keep a small product range. The sales strategy includes only fast-moving consumer goods. The limited product range eliminates time-consuming consultations for our staff, and customers can decide much faster to either buy or not buy. For example, we don't carry loose jams, fresh fruits and vegetables because they slow down sales. We also skip canned fruits and vegetables and specialty items like mayonnaise, pickled herring, herring salad and so on because of turnover speed. We carry only one variety of each product. For legumes, we have just one type each, so only one kind of beans, one kind of lentils and one kind of rice. For shoe polish, we only carry Erdal, for toothpaste only Blendax and only Sigella for floor.
What if you only carry one brand? They can't really complain. Yeah, if you only carry one brand, people are just gonna go, oh, I'll pick that one then.
Wicks and cans. So for brand products, we only ever carry the best-selling brand. We have followed this principle of small product ranges at low prices since 1950. The customer must believe they cannot buy cheaper anywhere else. Once that belief is in place, and I think we achieved just that, customers will accept about anything.
What if you could send money overseas in seconds? Oh.
Theo Albrecht spends most of his confinement sitting on the bed in his undershirt and briefs. He gets bread rolls for breakfast, steak with potatoes and beans for lunch, and coffee and pastries at tea time. The kidnappers
Fucking kidnap me? That sounds fucking beautiful. Steak every day. And tie my hands up. Take us away, please.
offer him a warm meal for dinner, but he just wants sandwiches and mineral water.
That
Every 2 days,
is he taking the
comes back in
piss?
fresh underwear.
He's
allowed
getting
to
offered steak, pastries, and stuff, and he reckons, "Oh, I just want a sarnie and a mineral water."
shave with one of the
Probably not like
kidnappers'
that.
razors. They took his suit and shirt to a dry cleaner, so it'll look decent on the day of his release. His captors dictate letters for him to write to his wife.
Dear Silly, you have heard from me by now. I want to assure you again that I'm doing fine and that I'm being treated fairly. Please don't worry, everything will be okay. I beg you not to call the police at any circumstance and to not involve the press. I'll explain the terms of my release later. Much love, your Theo.
4 days in, and the kidnappers still haven't addressed the ransom. Ullenberg keeps dodging the topic, saying it makes him uncomfortable. And just like that, another day goes by in captivity. Albrecht will later testify in court that during those days, he lived in constant fear for his life. Day 5.
I know, you would be really scared, wouldn't you? Like, they're treating you really nicely, but like, there's just like, it wouldn't seem right. You've been kidnapped, but you're getting treated really nicely, so you would just be, like, you'd be shitting yourself at all times.
Saturday. Albrecht decides to take matters into his own hands. He proposes a ransom. By this time, Aldi is estimated to be generating 2 billion Deutsche Marks in yearly revenue, but the price tag he puts on his own life is considerably smaller, 100,000
Getting
Deutsche
$4.6 billion a year. What is the 60s as well?
Marks. It's a ridiculous offer, a joke. Considerably smaller, 100,000 Deutsche Mark.
100k. I'll be fuming. You're making 2 billion a year and you're offering us 100k. They better have kept him.
Marks. It's a ridiculous offer, a joke. Then again, it's very on brand. Theo Albrecht is famously stingy. Daily business at the Albrecht stores is governed by a set of strict principles. 1. No heating. Employees are expected to dress warmly. 2. Lights off unless absolutely necessary. Theo Albrecht personally ensures compliance during frequent surprise rounds. 3. Zero waste. Every sheet of paper is used front and back. Plastic sleeves get reused. Paper clips and envelopes are meticulously saved. 4. No frills. No decoration, no pretty product displays, no fancy signage. Just fluorescent lighting and cardboard boxes stacked on plain shelves.
Fuck.
5. Speed, or what some may call German. No chit-chat, no customer
I
consultation.
get the speed,
no
but
service
why?
counters.
I get
Just
the
rapid
maybe the no
communication.
hating.
Time is money.
'Cause
Even the
if you can just
bathrooms are
dress warm, you can
optimized.
do that.
Theo Albrecht has
But no
all
light, I
electronic
wear.
dryers replaced because they take 4 seconds too long to shut off. Refrigeration is too expensive as well. The butter that fueled Aldi's meteoric rise is sold at room temperature. At night, it's stored.
It just seems like he's somewhere on the spectrum,
All of this
which
serves
everyone is on the
one
spectrum at some
goal
point.
only. Rock bottom prices, affordable for anyone.
Warum kann man bei Albrecht so preisgünstig einkaufen? Weil die Ladeneinnahmen
But I suppose,
einen Bruchteil des
I suppose if your prices are that low and you still want to be making like a decent profit, you've got to kind of sacrifice things like hand dryers, light, heating. I would say on a night you can turn the lights on, but do you really need lights during the day? Probably not. You need heating, maybe in the winter, but some people could just dress warmer. Not really a big deal in my eyes.
kostet. Kein überflüssiger Luxus, aber zweckmäßig und sauber für moderne Menschen. Albrecht-Preise sind nicht durch hohe Einrichtungskosten belastet. Überzeugen Sie sich. Kaufen Sie im Aldi-Markt.
The Albrecht grocery business eventually turns into Aldi, the discount giant that's also behind Trader Joe's. And Aldi
Is that what the
business
name is?
eventually
Sie sich. Kaufen Sie im Aldi-Markt.
The Albrecht grocery business eventually turns into Aldi.
Fair
the
enough.
discount
I was about to
giant
ask
that's
when it
also
got
behind Trader
changed
Joe's.
to Aldi.
And Aldi becomes a force of nature, a retail machine that leverages.
What the fuck is Trader Joe's? Never heard that shit in my life. Like a shop. What? Trader Joe's is a shop. Is that the American equivalent of Aldi?
market power to squeeze suppliers and farmers for ever lower prices. The Albrecht brothers earn a reputation as brutally efficient negotiators. But right now, Theo Albrecht is not the one negotiating from a position of power. The guys across the table have a gun, and they're threatening to kill him. They flat out reject his initial offer. Allenberg knows exactly how rich Albrecht is. He read about it in a book. That's how they picked him up in the first place.
I'd fucking reject it too. If you're making 2 billion a year and you offer me 100k, I'd be like, what the fuck? I want at least 500. He could wake up with 500 grand gone from his bank and he would not notice one bit.
Allenberg tells Albrecht they need to consult with their partners. First, Kron heads into the next room for a call, then Allenberg. The calls are fake. There's no one on the other end. They're bluffing to push the ransom. Allenberg tells Albrecht he and his partners have agreed on a number. He says there are 7 people involved and that $1 million each would be fair. That makes $7 million. At this point, it's the largest sum ever demanded.
Right, that's taking the piss a bit. I guess you got 2 billion, but away. Like you don't have a gun to be fair, but 7 million. I'd take like 500k. I wouldn't take anything because I'm not gonna kidnap someone. But like if I had to, I'd probably take like 10 grand right now.
Europe. Allenberg tells Albrecht not to worry. He can probably tax deduct the money as a business expense. Albrecht agrees. It's not like he really has a choice. By now, the kidnappers have worked.
She's got a gun to his head. You will pay 7 million for his life. I think I'm gonna go negotiate this. I will give you 2.5 million. That fucking Rocket League trade.
Out a plan for the ransom drop. On Tuesday at exactly 4 p.m., they'll call the Albrecht residence. Waiting on the other end will be the 4 people involved in the handover. Albrecht's wife, Silly, the family lawyer, the company's managing director, and one of his sons. They'll be given a first location, Meisenberg Street in Essen. There will be 2 stones with a note hidden underneath. The note will lead them to another location, where they'll find another note with another direction. The same thing will happen 2 more times. The final note will read,
Continue along the B288 toward Essen. Pull over at the parking lot near the Ruhrtal Bridge and use the deposited radio transmitter. Press the right button to say, Theo, come in please. Then follow the instructions you'll receive over the radio.
Kron will guide them via walkie-talkie to a path in the woods. There they're supposed to drop the money and leave. When the coast is clear, Kron will grab the ransom, and Albrecht will be released at Frankfurt Airport. They'll tell him they're leaving the country. Albrecht is told to board a plane back to Dusseldorf. Once he lands, he's a free man, and the kidnappers will have supposedly fled somewhere far away. It's a solid plan. Even Albrecht feels a bit relieved. Essen Police Headquarters. These are the 4 people awaiting the instructions for the ransom drop. At least they're supposed to look the part. They're actually 4 undercover detectives. They've been disguised by theater makeup artists. One of them is dressed as Mrs. Albrecht and wearing a wig. Underneath the costumes, they're hiding bulletproof vests and guns. They're standing by and waiting for the signal. Kron makes the call to the Albrecht residence. He says hello and is about to give the first set of instructions, and immediately gets cut off. Mrs. Albrecht was the one supposed to answer the call, but it's the family's lawyer on the line.
Please listen carefully. I have a brief but important statement to make. The conditions you have set are unacceptable. Money is the only viable exchange for the hostage. Since you demanded an unusually high amount of ransom money, we had to notify the state central bank. They in turn informed the police, and the press is also aware of the situation. We must act quickly now. Name a drop location and a reasonable amount. You will have our word. You will receive the money and be given enough time by the police to disappear.
Police and the press. That's the worst case scenario. Kron rejects and hangs up.
So he tried to call his bluff. So the police are already involved, but that's not why they're involved. He tried to call the bluff and it didn't work. They've rejected it. You know, that's actually a pretty high IQ play.
The Albrecht family and the investigators are startled too. They've spooked the kidnappers and lost their trust. Theo Albrecht's life is still very much on the line. What now? This is Franz Hengsbach. He's the Bishop of Essen, and this is the city's chief of police. He desperately needs someone neutral that everyone can trust. The police, the family, and most importantly, the kidnappers. Someone who can be handed 7 million Deutschmarks and promise the kidnappers not to set them up. The plan is to use the Christian seal of confession. According to German criminal law, clergy are not obligated to report crimes they learn about during spiritual counsel. This will hopefully give the kidnappers a bit more assurance. Maybe they really can walk away clean. Which is why Bishop Hengsbach shall handle the money handoff and
He's not actually notifying the police just already know. Quite smart, actually.
Save Theo Albrecht's life. Hengsbach is a man of faith. Of course he agrees. The kidnappers also agree to the plan. Technically, everything is set for a clean and smooth handover. Technically.
War Thunder, the military online action game.
Adverts. Right, it's not that deep to be fair, but
The press has known about the case for a while now, and agreed to keep quiet upon police request. But when they find out
the press
about
already
Bishop
knew.
becoming the middleman, they can't resist any longer.
Only some
It's just
dickheads
too
just
good of a story.
said it anyway.
The Essen police and prosecutors are forced to call a press conference. The room is packed.
Unser Verhältnis zur Familie ist, möchte ich sagen, aufgrund der merkwürdigen, teilweise sensationell aufgemachten Presseveröffentlichung etwas gestört. Die Familie ist naturgemäß sehr bedrückt.
Now it's not just the police anymore. The entire world knows what's happening. The bishop has been compromised. The kidnappers call off the meeting. It's too risky. The Albrecht family is desperate. They've lost all contact with the kidnappers. Will they harm Theo? Their last hope for communication is to include a message in a popular show on German national TV. Hannah is doing okay, but she's worried about her boyfriend. He hasn't been sleeping well and says work has been stressful lately. At least they can unwind in front of the TV.
Guten Abend, meine Damen.
Oh! Did his girlfriend find out? That's actually crazy. Wait, I still don't know if that is it, but that's crazy if I find out. Or his wife, whatever she is.
Vor 11 Tagen, am 29. November, haben bisher unbekannte Täter in der Nähe von Essen den Großkaufmann Theo Albrecht entführt. Sie verlangen ein Lösegeld von 7 Millionen Mark und einen Vorsprung von 24 Stunden. Da die Verbindung mit den Tätern in den letzten Stunden zusehends schlechter geworden ist, hat uns die Familie Albrecht gebeten, den Tätern, die diese Sendung heute Abend sicher sehen werden, folgende Nachricht zu übermitteln. Bitte bleiben Sie weiterhin mit dem Vermittler in Verbindung. Dieser wird niemanden über den Übergabeort und Zeit unterrichten. Nach Rückgabe des Entführten soll Theo Albrecht 24
Sorry, I
Stunden
have to.
bei dem Vermittler verbleiben.
Yeah. Come on, promoting bots in my chat. Hey.
A popular show on German national TV. Hannah is doing okay, but she's worried about her boyfriend. He hasn't been sleeping well and says work has been stressful lately. At least they can unwind in front of the TV.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Vor 11 Tagen, am 29. November, haben bisher unbekannte Täter in der Nähe von Essen den Großkaufmann Theo Albrecht entführt. Sie verlangen ein Lösegeld von 7 Millionen Mark und einen Vorsprung von 24 Stunden. Da die Verbindung mit den Tätern in den letzten Stunden zusehends schlechter geworden ist, hat uns die Familie Albrecht gebeten, den Tätern, die diese Sendung heute Abend sicher sehen werden, folgende Nachricht zu übermitteln. Bitte bleiben Sie weiterhin mit dem Vermittler in Verbindung. Dieser wird niemanden über den Übergabeort und Zeit unterrichten. Nach Rückgabe des Entführten soll Theo Albrecht 24 Stunden bei dem Vermittler verbleiben. Dadurch sind Verfolgungsmaßnahmen für diese 24 Stunden ausgeschlossen. Bitte handeln Sie bald.
Business in Germany keeps booming, and Karl Albrecht sets his sights on expansion. In 1967, his branch of the business called Aldi Süd takes its first steps abroad, buying up Austrian supermarket chain Hofer with 30 shops. His brother Theo follows suit 6 years later, opening the first Aldi Nord store in the Dutch city of Rotterdam. Soon they expand to Belgium and France, conquering Europe one country at a time. But right now, Karl Albrecht has to take a very different kind of call. He's on the phone with one of the men who has kidnapped his brother, and the guy is furious. The ransom drop-off has to happen, now, clean and fast. They settle on a new time and place. The kidnappers agree to let Bishop Hengsbach deliver the money after all. Albrecht is to stay with him for 24 hours after the exchange. No police. Any interference could be fatal. Karl Albrecht agrees. Back at the office, Kron returns with the good news. The deal is back on. But Ollenberg has other concerns. He knows the police are recording their calls. He's been obsessing over security and telling his accomplice countless times to take precautions. So just to be sure, he asks Kron if he really changed his voice. Kron shrugs, awkwardly. Yeah, kind of. Day 17 of the abduction. Tonight's the night. The handover is finally supposed to happen. Theo Albrecht in exchange for 7 million Deutsche Marks. A lonely dirt road just off the highway. There's a
Surely if he changed his voice, it wouldn't change anything anyway, because they're still saying the same things. Like, it's not like they're speaking about something different. I feel like I got really quiet. I was so locked in the video.
an overpass and 2 exit roads close by. Perfect escape conditions. The kidnappers arrive. Albrecht is wearing skin patches over his eyelids, sunglasses, and an old hat from Ollenberg. They had a glass of sparkling wine to mark the occasion. Ollenberg even gave Albrecht 2 parting gifts. The 3 step out and wait for over an hour. Is this a setup after all? Finally, a Volkswagen rolls up with Essen plates. The 2 men step out in clerical coats. One of them is unmistakably Bishop Hengsbach. The family fears a double cross. What if this is not the real Theo? What if the kidnappers pass off a decoy and run off with the money? So the bishop has to test him, with 3 questions dictated by Theo's wife. What kind of wood is Albrecht's new bedroom wardrobe made of? Albrecht hesitates. That damn wardrobe. What was the name of that wood again? He gives his answer, but the bishop shakes his head. Wrong.
Oh, so we got it wrong! Oh my god, it's actually him and I think it's not. That's fuck it. That is insane.
The second question is about an acquaintance they made during vacation. He gets that one right, and the third one too. Alright, close enough.
Imagine. Imagine he got the first two right and got what is Albrecht's wife's first name wrong? Like the first two are like, what kind of wood is it? And he just says it straight away. What was the name of your last Holy Queens? He says it straight away. What is his wife's name? And he's just like, It's a bit of a tough one. Stacy. Oh, damn.
This has to be the real Theo Albrecht. The bishop and his driver get the money from the car.
What was that?
Has to be the real Theo Albrecht.
Well, has to be the real one because he said his wife's name and holiday acquaintance. I feel like the wife's name's an easy thing to get.
The bishop and his driver get the money from the car. 7 million Deutsche Marks in cash, wrapped like Christmas presents. Olenberg and Kron wish them Merry Christmas, hand over the Aldi founder, and vanish. No one.
Sorry, what was a Deutschmark? How big was a Deutschmark? Deutschmark. Notes. They have notes. So it's like normal marks, right? What was the biggest Deutschmark note? Not EI. The 100 trillion mark. Used by people. This is taking the piss. I don't care about 100 trillion. All the Deutschmark notes. There was 1,000. Right, let's get a calculator up. Calculator. I'm going really far into depth for this. 7 million divided by 1,000. I needed 7,000 notes, so that's not as bad as I thought it was. I was say, how could you fit them all in there? But you'd probably easily fit 7,000 notes in.
They did it. They're now multi-millionaires. And Germany's most wanted criminals.
In welcher Verfassung sind Sie vorgestern entlassen worden?
Also ich bin gesund. Ich bin natürlich sehr, sehr müde. Es hat mich ziemlich strapaziert.
Hatten Sie während der Zeit der Gefangenschaft daran geglaubt, dass dieser Fall gut ausgeht?
Also ich habe die Hoffnung nicht untergehen lassen.
Haben Sie mit...
It must be so hard to be hopeful at that point though. Like, you've been captive for like 10 days, nothing's going well, you've constantly held at gunpoint, and it's just like... then... You would be tired. I don't think he ever slept at all, or barely.
Den Entführern Gespräche führen können über menschliche Dinge oder nur über die Tat.
Ich habe praktisch kaum mit den Entführern gesprochen.
Theo Albrecht is a free man. 17 days after his abduction, he's finally back. He just keeps doing what he does best.
Wait. I'm thinking how they get caught. Is he gonna get grassed up by his wife because he's just fled without saying anything to her? Because that might be. That's what I'm thinking at the minute.
Expand his empire. In 1979, he sets his sights on the US market and buys Trader Joe's. Then he enforces the same principles that made Aldi so successful: a limited product range, strong private labels, and aggressive pricing. The formula works. Trader Joe's grows from a quirky Californian chain into a nationwide cold supermarket with hundreds of locations and billions in revenue. His brother had already opened the first US Aldi store 3 years earlier. Theo operates under the banner of his branch, Aldi Nord, and Karl under Aldi Süd. They're technically competitors, but with different customer bases. Today, Aldi is the fastest growing grocery retailer in the US. And the main reason people shop there is the same as ever: unbeatable prices.
That's why.
Aldi doesn't play pricing games on US.
When the closest, there's Aldi's in America. What? It's not the one having Trader Joe's if it's Aldi. What? Anyway, Aldi's probably the closest shop to me, and It's very cheap, so my family shops there, so fair enough.
Choice beef. They have low prices every day.
Oh my
Fancy new razor.
God!
Hana is waiting for her boyfriend. She has packed his suitcase. He said he was going on vacation without her. And now he's late. Maybe he's seeing someone else. When he finally gets home, his shoes are soaking and his pants are covered in mud. How would you get your pants that dirty at a downtown office? But Ollenberg can't exactly tell her that he just pulled off a spectacular kidnapping, and that his pants are dirty because he just buried 1.5 million Deutsche Marks in the woods. So he just says nothing.
Why'd he bury it?
His thoughts are already elsewhere anyway,
But
of his other girlfriend, his one true love.
if I missed the memo, why the fuck did he bury 1.5 mil of it?
The woman he plans to run away with, all the way to the other side of the world, where they'll use that money to start a new life. But Hana will soon find out what those dirty pants
That's why I just don't like Spain. I don't think Germany and Spain's the other side of the world.
were really about. Paul Kron is at his sister's house. Her husband is there too. They're having coffee and cake, and the TV is on, with sound.
Da handelt es sich zunächst einmal, meine Damen und Herren, um ein Gespräch zwischen einem Familienmitglied und einem der Entführer. Bitte hören Sie einmal zu.
So it's true. The police really did record the phone call between Kron and Karl Albrecht. Now the city's district attorney is playing it to the German press. He's hoping to get help from the public, that someone out there will recognize the kidnapper's voice.
Wir können das Geld ja nur hier irgendwo im Kohlenpott in Empfang nehmen.
Ja, nein, hören Sie zu.
Und dann,
Herr Dr. Meier. Herr Dr. Meier.
Ja.
Merken Sie denn nicht, dass wir den Bruder haben wollen und bereit sind, das Geld zu geben?
Wissen Sie, Ihr Bruder verliert langsam die Nerven.
Ich verstehe
Er
das.
möchte gerne nach Hause.
Ich verstehe
Er
das.
kann nichts anderes tun als schreiben.
Kron's sister instantly recognizes her brother's voice. No doubt about it. He's the Aldi kidnapper the entire country is looking for. That's a tough thing to explain over coffee and cake. Kron doesn't even try. He just gets up and leaves. Hana recognizes the voice too. Ollenberg has invited Kron over for dinner many times. She knows exactly who that is. A small electronics store in Dusseldorf. The shopkeeper turns on the TV just to catch a segment of a show called Here and Today. They're also playing the recording of the Aldi's kidnapper's voice, and it sounds very familiar. Just the day before, a man with that exact voice had come in to pay off his installment plan. He even bought a stereo system for 3,400 Deutsche Marks on top. The shopkeeper calls the police. Before the handoff, investigators had written down the serial numbers of all 500 Deutsche Mark bills in the ransom bundle. 3 of those bills were used in the electronics store. It's a match.
That's so fucking smart. They wrote down all the serial. There was 1,000. They wrote down 1,000. Oh, all the 500s. Really smart though. And man, they released that clip. They released the audio recording. Probably couldn't have been sat in a worse place at them times.
Paul Kron is arrested 2 days later, but the second kidnapper is still a mystery, and still at large. Peter Spohr is a young police trainee working toward his detective badge. Right now, he's doing an internship with the Essen Criminal Police. This is his mentor, Chief Inspector Friedhelm Meise. They're sitting in a lawyer's office on the 4th floor of the Graf Adolf Street 45. It's run by the lawyer representing Paul Kron. It's not exactly a hot lead for the 2 policemen. The more exciting assignments had already been snatched up by others. There's a pub downstairs on the ground floor of the building. Good cops think strategically. So first a beer, and then a plan. Theo Albrecht never knew where exactly he had...
The police usually just go have pints on the drive. I suppose this was like was this the 70s? What? Surely there's just one drink. Surely you'd think a lot clearer.
Been held, but he told the police every detail he could remember. An elevator in the stairwell, a narrow bathroom with a double sink and a broken extractor fan, the sound of streetcars passing by, and a bell chiming at regular intervals. The policeman see a streetcar passing by outside the lawyer's office. Then they hear the church bell of a nearby convent, just like in Albrecht's description. They peek into the building's stairwell. Bingo, an elevator. So they check out the construction plan from the city's building department. The bathroom is long and narrow. They get a warrant to search the office. Everything inside exactly matches Albrecht's memories. Meanwhile, Kron starts to crack.
Paul Kron hat gesungen. Er bezichtigt Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg als Haupttäter der Entführung, der ihn mit 10.000 Mark abgespeist hat. Doch der Vogel ist ausgeflogen.
This is Blondie, a 19-year-old legal assistant. She's waiting for her boyfriend at Wuppertal Central Station. She hasn't seen him in weeks, but he promised her something big, a luxury vacation in Mexico to celebrate that she successfully passed her training, 2 full weeks. Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg is on the run. He knows the cops have already picked up Kron. It's only a matter of time before they find out that he's the second Aldi kidnapper. Ollenburg and Blondie have known each other for over a year. When she spent a few months working from the US, he started killing.
Sorry, he was just cheating on his bird for like a year. But why was this not fucking explained earlier?
Time with Hannah, but his heart always belonged to Blondie. They're madly in love with each other. Now they're on their way to Frankfurt Airport. Back in Essen, Hannah has no idea. She's alone at home when suddenly the police is at her door. They're looking for Ollenburg. They seize this photo. It will become the official manhunt photo. Once they realize Ollenburg has left the country, the case goes global. The picture is sent to Inter.
You'd be fuming if you were the lass. Your face is plastered all over a manhunt. They'll probably cut her out, but you get what I mean.
And investigators in over 100 countries. Ollenburg is now one of the most wanted men on the planet. And Hannah finally learns the truth, that her charming lover owes her over 300,000 marks, that he kidnapped the founder of Aldi, locked him up in his office, and then came home to her every night as if nothing happened, all while secretly planning his escape, with a girl from Wuppertal he's been sleeping with all this time. Shortly after...
Oh, you'd be fucking... Oh, you'd be fuming. Imagine not just finding out that your fucking partner's committed one of the biggest kidnappings of all time, but also just finding out he's been sleeping with another woman, a fool for like the last year, and he owes you 300 grand.
Hannah walks into a police station and hands them her boyfriend's dirty pants. Maybe there's something on them that will help them bring him down.
If you want to build an app and have no idea how to code or where to start...
Surely she would have been arrested. Like, they might have thought she was involved somewhat.
A hotel in Mexico City. Ollenburg and Blondie have spent a quiet first night together. Now he's supposed to plan their next days. But deep down, he's thinking about something else. He could tell Blondie everything, the whole story. They could run, first to Cuba, a country that surely doesn't extradite to Germany, and then disappear to some remote Pacific island. But would Blondie really leave everything behind for him? Her whole life, her family. It's 12 a.m. now, and Blondie is waiting for her boyfriend in the hotel lobby. She's coming off a travel group meeting. He said he'd freshen up for lunch and meet her downstairs, but he doesn't show up. Turns out her boyfriend has just been arrested by agents of the Mexican Federal Police. Paul Kron has thrown him under the bus. Blondie is stunned, unable to process what's
No, yeah, come on, ratted on him. Ratted on him. Kron is ratted on him. Yes, Kron. Go for that. Imagine that, you think you've got like a boyfriend who's just like really rich. You go on holiday to Mexico, you're just waiting for him and he just comes out the lift with like 3 policemen. That'd be crazy.
But all signs point to a shocking truth. Her boyfriend is the mastermind behind the spectacular kidnapping of Theo Albrecht, the crime that's been dominating headlines in Germany for weeks. So much for a vacation. They're on the flight back to Europe when she confesses her love. She'll wait for him even if he ends up going to jail.
Erst am 1. Januar 1900.
What? Right. She has just found out that he is behind one of the biggest kidnappings of all time and thought, I still love him. I will wait for you if you're in jail. Why? What is wrong with women? It's like those ones that still fucking... It's like the ones that fancy Ted Bundy. Why on earth would you fancy Ted Bundy?
1972 kehrt er, aus Mexiko abgeschoben, mehr oder weniger freiwillig zurück, mit seiner Begleiterin aus Wuppertal. Ollenburg hat heute Mittag ein Geständnis abgelegt. Was fehlt, sind die 7 Millionen Mark Lösegeld.
Heinz-Joachim Ollenburg is sentenced to 8.5 years in prison.
8.5? I think that's pretty lenient.
Aldi stands for a promise. We'll do everything we can to make sure you pay as little as possible. For millions of people living from paycheck to paycheck around the globe, that promise is a lifeline. At Aldi, they're able to afford things they otherwise couldn't. But that promise comes at a cost. Workers operate under enormous pressure because in Aldi stores, every second counts. According to one report, cashiers are expected to scan 55 items per minute. Customers can barely keep up with bagging. Low prices means high pressure, not just.
Well, that's a bit shit if the store is dead. If there's no one in, you can't be scanning 55 items a minute.
Staff, but also for manufacturers, suppliers, and.
It must be such an NPC job having to scan 55 things a minute. You're just constantly like, boop, 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 boop. Yeah, you're doing like one a second.
Farmers. If you want to work with Aldi, you have to deliver. Aldi and other discounters wield staggering market power. They can just raise food prices without passing profits down the supply chain to producers and farmers. Farming businesses in particular have long been criticizing unfair business practices. Many say they're at the mercy of the retailer's whims. Theo Albrecht's brilliant and often brutal methods made him one of the richest people on Earth. He ranked 31st on the corresponding Forbes list by the time he died. The kidnapping was a mark, though. Albrecht pretty much disappeared from the public after that. He really did try to write off the ransom as a business expense. The tax office in Dusseldorf declined. Half of the ransom money has never been recovered. Kron claimed he only ever got 10,000 marks. Ollenberg also played dumb, but some believe he lived off the rest of the ransom after having served his time. Whether Blondie...
Well, surely you just say if he's got like a job or something, and if he doesn't, he's clearly living off. There's no way to prove that. Like, you can't just get the money from him.
He really waited for him all those years. We may...
W video, man. W video.